It's never too late, but if you keep on procrastinating, you're going to make it later and later and later and later. So if this is what you want to do, you have to apply yourself now.
Kendra Erika is an acclaimed singer, songwriter, and actress known for her cinematic sound, sultry sophistication, and chart-topping success. With 5 Billboard top 10 dance hits, including the #1 smash Self-Control, she has established herself as a dynamic force across pop, dance, and jazz-influenced music. Her newest single, Golden Eye, ushers in her era of her upcoming album, License to Thrill. Hello, Kendra. It's so great to have you on our podcast episode today. How has your day been so far?
Today's been great. I got up, I went to the gym to get some endorphins, and I've just been preparing to speak to you today.
Amazing. That sounds good. And starting the day with a bit of a workout is awesome.
Yes.
And yeah, always good to get the body moving. So love that. So before we get into our topic today on you starting off as someone that's tone deaf into having the amazing success that you've had, I would love to first of all start by learning a bit more about your career so the audience gets to know you a bit more as well and where things started for you. So if you could let me know in a little summary on how did things start for you in music and how did you get to where you are today?
Well, I first started singing when I was 8 years old, but I wasn't really truly singing and honing and channeling my voice because I was tone deaf. And it took me time and it took me training. I was introduced to a professional German opera singer when I was 8 years old, and he laid such foundation for me to build upon. And that classical training is very much let's break you down to build you back up. That really was very instrumental and integral in my voice today, because from there, that training can then translate into other genres like musical theater, Broadway, jazz. That training is very at the core, it's very effective. And just doing a lot of community theater, a lot of school productions. And then I was given a job at 15 years of age at an Italian restaurant. My parents and I had gone there for karaoke night, and I got up and I did Andrea Bocelli's Time to Say Goodbye. And I got a standing ovation for doing that. And the owner of the restaurant comes over with 2 glasses of wine and he says, I have a proposition. And, it was like very, very Italian, very like, let's make a deal. And he said, I just lost my Sunday singer. I would love to offer you this position. And so I started singing all the jazz standards of the American songbook, like the Frank Sinatra's, Billie Holiday's, Doris Day's, Linda Ronstadt's, Dean Martin's. I had to really acquire these classics quite expeditiously because I needed to show that I can maintain this job and not just maintain it, but also thrive and grow with other opportunities that came my way, which ended up happening because other owners of restaurants would come in, see me, and then they would hire me for their establishments. And then it just kept on becoming more of this domino effect. Every window led to this window and that window. And ultimately, I became very fascinated. In the midst of all this, I became fascinated with the songwriting process because as much as I was singing a lot of these classics that were not my own, I still wanted to write and record my own music. And from that interest, my mom and my dad supported me in finding those key people to help with that. So therefore, I started, since I was living in Florida at the time when I was growing up, I worked with some producers in Miami. And from there, I went with an artist development firm in New York. And from there, then I met someone that took me ultimately to LA. And that's what started the whole back and forth from Florida to LA, that whole bi-coastal lifestyle. And in the midst of all of that, because I was writing and recording and charting on the Billboard dance charts, I was doing club performances in like Vegas, Nashville, New York, even internationally, like Paris and other places. And from there, I really built a great rapport, and I charted, and I really created a footprint for myself in the dance world. Even Self-Control, my remake of Self-Control went to #1 on the Billboard dance chart. And all the while, I just felt so great performing these original songs and being able to connect with so many different people nationwide and international.
Wow, it's always so interesting getting the answer to that question because everyone's journey is so different. And I'm sure, like being at the start of it, it would have been really hard for you to see how one thing is going to lead to another. But looking back, you can sort of see how each thing sort of flowed into the next opportunity. And it's a hard thing to plan for.
It's a very hard thing to plan for. You know, everything for me just seemed to happen organically and by certain like divine timing.
Yeah.
Because when I first graduated high school, I told my mom, I said, I want to go to New York or LA because I wanted to do the whole Disney Channel thing like every other, irrational teenager wants to do. And she put the brakes on that, and she said no. She said, I will still support your music and your aspirations, but please go to college and get a 4-year degree, and after that, if you still have interest in pursuing these avenues, then we'll support you. And I felt like that was a blessing, so that I was able to have some sort of organic teenage, early 20s development before I made a solid decision to pursue this. And I just think that with me being in the dance genre, coming from the classical roots, the jazz roots, and then going into the dance genre, I really honed in a lot of those performance skills and those traveling skills and those writing skills. And it strengthened me in a way that I didn't know would.
Yep.
But now I'm going back to my roots, and that's what sparked the remake of Frank Sinatra's Witchcraft with Myra McKinley and Ralph Johnson, which won a Hollywood Independent Music Award. And now it sparked this new journey of doing the License to Thrill album, which is the James Bond trilogy and songbook album, releasing in February of next year.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I think we have an ability to kind of look back and take the skills from different areas of our lives and implement them into where we are now. And what you say about your mum suggesting you do that degree, similar thing. Like I studied a degree in business and accounting, and I was wondering, why did I waste my time doing this? It was something I didn't really care about. But now looking back, like those skills have helped so much in developing a music business. And we can either kind of look back and be resentful of that time, or we can like take it and own it and bring that into whatever we're doing now.
Hi, my name is Carmel, and I'm a producer and engineer based in London. This episode is brought to you by Kilohertz. If you haven't tried Kilohertz's plugins yet, you're missing out. Their plugin range has everything a modern producer needs, from core effects to their much-loved synth, Phase Plant. With their modular ecosystem, you can craft perfect instruments and effects for any project. Many plugins are free, others are reasonably priced, but smart producers take advantage of the Kilohertz subscription. For just $9.99 a month, you get every product plus $100 back every year toward perpetual licenses. Visit kilohertz.com today to grab the freebies or start a free trial and join top producers worldwide already using Kilohertz's awesome plugins.
So, could you tell me one random fact about yourself, Kendra, that maybe not that many people in music know about you?
One random fact. I'm a certain kind of savant in that I can remember everyone's birthday.
Wow.
So if you tell me it like once or twice, it sticks. And then if you ask me down the line or in however near future, I'll be able to remember it. But that's one I would say like avant-garde, sort of like peculiar aspect of me. But one very tactful component about me is that I I'm a good golfer. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Like
Oh, wow.
I played I played on the varsity team in high school, and I'm a 7 handicap. So, and I just want to thank I pledge allegiance to my dad for teaching me that sport, because it can help so much in business, and it can open a lot of doors, and you never really know who's playing golf that day and who you can get paired up with, especially out here in LA, and just overall. And a lot of those like virtues in golf, like if you hit a bad shot, don't focus on it, just keep on going. That applies in life too.
For
and
sure.
and also it teaches you like emotional resolve. It teaches you just to keep your composure, have a good mentality. And even my mom does this when she realizes that she's having a bad round one day. It's usually because she's checking her phone the entire time and getting lost in that world instead of being present with her game. And yeah, like I said, that's a virtue that's very important in general life.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I mean, I am not a golfer, but from what I've heard, it definitely sounds like networking as much as a sport, which is
Yes.
interesting. There's not many sports that you would find that in. And yeah, I think those kind of learnings you get from so many types of sports is like that mindset part of it is such a big part of sport. So that's great to hear. And the birthday fact is definitely a random fact. I don't think we've heard something like
Yeah,
that before, but
I
very
know.
impressive.
I don't know why. I think it's just because my fascination with astrology or zodiac, or just when people are born. I think for me, it shows like the molecular and celestial differences between all of us, or
Mm.
similarities even too.
Yeah. So getting into our topic today, Kendra, which is looking at how you started from being tone deaf to becoming a Billboard charting vocalist and artist as well. So you've said that you were born tone deaf and started classical training at the age of 8. You
Yeah.
mentioned with your opera singing trainer as well. Like, just looking on that, for any listeners that feel hopeless about their pitch and feel like it's something that is never going to happen for them. What was your experience like, and what was that first breakthrough moment that allowed you to feel like it was something that you could do?
Well, the pivotal moment for me was when I was 13, and I won the Boca Raton, Florida, the local talent competition. It was like the biggest actually in South Florida, for doing "Time to Say Goodbye" by Andrea Bocelli. I was not expecting to win, and when I did, it cemented with me that I can do this. I now have the skill set to grow from. And I think that was the pivotal moment that indicated and signified that this is the path to take and to go on. But for anyone who is, suffering through those squabbles of pitch and tone and all this, and not being able to carry a tune. For me, I was blessed to have someone that showed me the ropes and trained me. But I know some other people who have actually just naturally grown out of it, and I think it's just I think it's sort of like an allergy in a way. You can grow out of your allergies.
Mm.
Because it can be when we're born, it could be just a little tonal injury that heals itself over time. So I feel that if you have a love for it, if you have a passion for it, and if you want to just keep on going with it, just that continuation and that repetition is what's surely going to be your cure.
Yeah, so I love that. So can you walk us through, like, what was the process of rebuilding your ear and your voice? And in that time, what habits did you have to build, and what routines did you have to bring into your practice as well to build that voice?
It was like doing warm-ups, practicing, developing it. And to be completely honest, when I was younger, I was almost resentful of practicing, because I saw
Mm.
people, like I said, I saw people that could just get up there and sing and carry a tune, and I was just always so like unstable and insecure about it. So I always felt like, why do I have to do more where they just do less or not do anything at all. But then again, I think that was preparing me for the pathway ahead, because probably they're going to have it easier, whereas it was preparing me for, I don't want to say the rocky road ahead, but definitely a hike.
Oh, yeah.
So it was that like mentality. It was like breaking through those mental obstacles. Like that's what it essentially was. It was like those mental obstacles. And when you're a developing child, teenager, young adult, you're like, what is going on with me? And so it definitely led to a lot of frustrations, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of, breakdowns emotionally, mentally. Um, and it was preparing me for the pathway that I was destined to take, which is, as they say, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that I had like such like a downtrodden hard knock life. I'm not saying that like I slept at the dive bar or anything. I didn't do that. I made sure that I got in an Uber to go home from the dive bar, because I was like, I'm not sleeping here. It's 2 a.m. I'm gonna go. But still, it was just me observing, and maybe it was like me overthinking it too. But I don't know. I just had a different approach to it, and I think just like constantly doing it and persevering, I think that's what really honed in all of those skill sets, because it was the perseverance that solidified all of that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think in this industry more so than others, I think that one trait is the most important thing than anything else, is just perseverance and just sticking at it for as long as you possibly can.
Yes.
So you started obviously from a very classical background, and then you went into dance music and pop as well, and now you're moving into back into classics as well. So how did that background in kind of classical come into the dance and pop world? Like, how did you fuse those two sides of you together? And sometimes, people think it's difficult to make that change, but what was your process around that?
Firstly, because I was such an avid Phantom of the Opera, not just fan, but I also performed the pieces from it, like the title song Phantom of the Opera, All I Ask of You, Wishing Your Somehow Here Again. And I actually approached my producer, Damon Sharp, and I said, can we do a dance version of Phantom of the Opera? And he said, yes. So we did a dance, like sort of EDM house version of that song.
Cool.
And it's really good. But overall, I not just the vocal training helped in that technique and helped channel those pop vocal elements, but also, as you can hear in most of what I do in the dance genre, is throughout the song you'll hear some like signature like high notes or ad libs, and I always wanted to sign every single song off with those elements
Cool.
to stay true to the origin of where I came from.
I love that. And it's great that your music is almost showing the journey of, your past and your influences by bringing in different elements into genres that may not traditionally kind of have those elements in there as well. So that's great. So you released early songs such as Oasis and Under My Skin before your first big Billboard hit as well. So what did those early releases teach you about growth and also like dealing with what other people think of your music, and also like internal versus external validation?
Those early songs like Oasis, Under My Skin, they're like the stamp of that quality kind of product that I can produce. Even though it was in like a dance and pop genre, they were still super high quality, super professional. The writing was wonderful. And it just, like I've said before about other things, is that signified that this is something like I'm meant to do. Even though I may be changing genres in the next, 9, 10 years, I'm gonna enjoy this right now. And so I felt that by having those quality pieces, it allowed me to see the upcoming work that I could be doing and that I would be doing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one for people to keep in mind as well, is not think of whatever you're doing right now being the best that you can ever do, and know that it's part of the evolution, and your things are going to move and change, and you're going to keep growing, and know that there's more to come in that journey and in your creativity as well.
Yes.
So, what practical advice would you give to people who may not be born with natural talent for music, but really love it, but perhaps feel like it's too late for them to start and take on this journey?
It's never too late, but if you keep on procrastinating, you're going to make it later and later and later and later.
Yes.
And yeah, you can't really be a skeleton and record anything.
That's
So
true.
if this is what you want to do, you have to apply yourself now. Too late, but if you keep on procrastinating, you're going to make it later and later and later and later.
Yes.
And yeah, you can't really be a skeleton and record anything.
That's
So
true.
if this is what you want to do, you have to apply yourself now, because it's really easy to get stuck in the formula of it, or observing, oh, this is how this person did it, and this is how this person did it, and how can I do it differently in this? You're putting calculus and algebra and geometry and whatever on the chalkboard, and you're trying to connect the dots. But while you're doing that, you could be applying yourself and just doing it. Just, putting yourself on camera singing, writing this, figuring out how you're gonna, fund your project or do anything like that. So like the longer you get stuck in the formula and observing and being not present in the activity of it, if you're not active, you're not being proactive.
Yeah. Definitely, we can talk about it as much as we want, but then actually taking action is where things happen.
Yes,
So,
it is.
yeah, that's a great one to keep in mind. So, tell me what's coming up for you at the moment, Kendra. Of course, you've got this new release, and how did the kind of James Bond thing come about as well?
Well, I just released Goldeneye, the lead single from the License to Thrill album coming up. And my dad, he showed me my first Bond movie at 7 years old, 007. I was always just so fascinated by the Bond films, and I always thought that the way that, he dressed, and he just had this like masculinity and this like debonair quality, and the films themselves were, cinematic masterpieces. They were so well done. And just to me, it spoke very resonant for me. I was always performing like the Bond songs in my local performances, and in the last few years, I had this idea to do a James Bond album. I basically took my own advice, and I was like, I don't want to think about it anymore. I actually want to say, hey, let's do this.
Nice.
And once I vocalized it to to my team, and found the producer to do it, which is Myron McKinley, who produced the remake of Witchcraft, I felt like he was going to be the one to really do justice by this, because he's done so much, like stripped down so many classic songs and really put a fantastic stylization on them. I wanted him to be the producer to produce this one. I'm thrilled for this album
Yeah.
because there's already a baked-in audience for it. I don't have to like, who's gonna like it? No, everyone loves James Bond,
Yeah, for sure.
So there's already that baked-in audience, and also with the upcoming questions about what's gonna happen with James Bond and the Bond brand and the latest movies, I just wanted to be a part of that newfound discovery of what the future of Ian Fleming's work looks like.
Yeah. I love that. So do we have a release date for the album?
It's February 13th, 2026.
Okay, that's great. We will all have to keep an eye out for that, and definitely a big James Bond fan, so I love this.
Who was your favorite?
Roger Moore.
High five, mine too.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Just what a gentleman.
What a gentleman. I know. All the Shawners, get very aggressive. They're like, Sean! And I'm like,
Yeah.
he was wonderful. He started it off nicely, but Roger Moore came in and did it just a touch better.
I agree. Love that. So, Kendra, we are now at our speed quiz. Are you ready for that?
Speed quiz. Okay, yes, I'm
Okay.
ready.
So, 5 quick fire, this or that question, the first one that comes to your mind. So,
Okay.
oceans or mountains?
Oceans.
Animals or people?
Oh, God. What is this, the Wicked Press Tour? I don't need animals. I like people. Like, what? Oh my God. Oh, can I just say both?
No, you have to pick one. You have to pick one,
Ah.
Kendra.
Animals or people? Oh God,
Tough.
it really is. I'll say animals because we can all be animals.
Oh. That's a good reasoning. I like that.
Yeah.
So, ballads or dance beats?
Ballads.
Okay. Melody or lyrics?
Ugh. Lyrics.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Okay. All right. That was probably on the lowest end of the speed spectrum that we've had, Kendra, but that's okay. That's okay. You did your best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some tough ones in there, so that's okay. So, coming to our top tips, could you tell me what is your one top career tip?
Don't do what everyone else is doing, but have a touch of the times in it.
Like current times?
Yes, like don't be original, but always have like a touch of like the times in what you do so that you still remain relevant, but still hold on to your originality first and foremost.
Okay. So I'm hearing hold on to your originality, but see what's going on in the current sphere and just have little touches of that in there.
And just
Yeah.
extrapolate. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Nice one. And what's your one top self-care tip?
Self-care tip. Well, mine is making sure that you're surrounding yourself by the right people and also what you watch, what you listen to, because nutrition is not just what you eat, it's what you hear, what you see. And I can see a big improvement in my life because I used to be all about like staying up to date with like the political side or what's going on in the world, and it's great to stay updated, but not to be so invested to where you're like having an emotional response to it.
100%. Like, I
So,
completely agree with that. And yeah, I used to, 'cause especially that's what was happening in the corporate space. Everyone would be, watching the news and like right up to date with what's going on in the world. And
mhm.
I wanted to do that as well. And definitely like the mental health suffers because all we're hearing is mostly negative stuff, which a lot of the things we have no control over and we can't do anything about. So,
I
um,
know. It's like we could sit at a table and be like, this person and this politician and this, but it's like, are we actually going to the courthouses and filing motions?
yeah.
No, we're not.
True, so true. And now, maybe people would call me ignorant, but I just have not really a whole lot of idea on what's going on, but I just know what I have control over, and that has improved my life so, so much. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also a great point there on like just looking not only at, what you're putting in your mouth with your food and things, but like looking at our senses as well and making sure that the people that are around us are positive people and what we're hearing and seeing makes a big impact as well. So really good point. And what's your one top general life tip, would you say?
General life tip. It's a quote that my dad instilled in me, and it goes, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
That's your dad's quote. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Makeup doesn't
love
go
that.
on your face unless you apply it.
I'm guessing that wasn't his.
No, that's mine.
Kendra's rendition of your dad's quote. Okay, love
Yes.
it. Yeah, no, that's a great one. And yeah, it's that work part of it, isn't it? Is actually doing the work, showing up and putting in the time is where everything is. Talent only goes so fast. So yeah, love it. Love it. So thank you so much for your time, Kendra. It's been lovely chatting to you, and I'm sure our audience is going to learn a lot from your journey and your process as well. So thank you again for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
My biggest 3 takeaways from the episode with Kendra was firstly that hard work always beats talent. So even if you currently feel like you don't have a load of talent or the right pitch, then just keep working at it. And if you do this for long enough, this is going to win over having the talent in the first place. My second biggest takeaway is to apply yourself to whatever you want to do now. It's very easy for us to procrastinate and put things off, but to start now is much better than putting it off and starting in 2 years' time. My last takeaway is to surround yourself with the right people. And this includes all of the things that we are putting into our minds, our ears, and our eyes. So just make sure that everything we are consuming leaves us in the best headspace. That's it from us this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.